All right, we're live there. Start the music. Make sure everything can be heard. Probably should turn it up a little bit. Thorn, hello, welcome. Okay, yeah, it's like music's like barely audible, just enough to fill the silence, I guess. I'll turn it up a little bit more, I think. Not too much. There we go. All right, mute YouTube again. Don't want to hear myself again and again. Rampin, hello, welcome. Yes, we're doing a retrospective stream. So, hello. For all those new and all those returning, my name is Jurmicc, and I have been streaming for, I think, 2-3 years now. But I've been on YouTube for well over 11 years. I've been here a long time. Previously known as Lunar Ray the Fox, now rebranded as Jurmicc. And since 2025 was like a year of a lot of developments for me. I wanted to like look back on it and reflect on some of the things that happened throughout it. And I feel like the best place to start would be from the things that I did here on YouTube. So let's take a look back at all the games that I played this year. So in total, since I did Signalis, which I consider to be like the beginning of this Jurmicc era, I've played 54 games. 2 are discontinued. 2 were demos. 1 was a one-off. And the 2 discontinued ones were Valhalla and Voices of the Void. One for personal reasons, the other for the game isn't even done. There was the dual core demo that I did the multiplayer beta with my buddy Dan. Then I did the Unbeatable demo, which I'm now playing the full game of that. And in 2025 alone, I've done, let's see, 1, 5, 10, 15, technically 20, but 19 games that are done. Because Unbeatable is still in progress. So, but the first game I did in 2025 was A Date with Death. And that, I still believe to this day, was probably the best series on my channel. I love that series so damn much. I had so much goddamn fun doing that. It was such an incredible time with Bunny. She is hilarious, and if there's any like I don't like advertising my stuff, but I love telling people to watch that series because Bunny is absolutely hilarious in it. It was such a fun time playing that game, going through it and romancing this absolute failure of a sexy Grim Reaper man was so much goddamn fun. Teasing him, making him swoon, him teasing back, getting to voice the whole thing with Bunny, and just watching her just curl up and just lose her mind over it was such a blast. It was so much fun doing that. I'm getting ahead of myself. I told myself I was gonna like do more of an intro, and I completely didn't do that. So again, looping back to introductions, I am a voice actor. I'm a streamer. I don't like calling myself that, but I guess it's hard but I guess it's undeniable at this point. I'm a vocalist. I'm a composer. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I'm also, I guess, technically a writer now, but not really. I guess more a scenarist, maybe, something like that. I do a lot. No, I'm definitely a writer. I'm definitely a writer for other projects. In terms of other things. So, again, okay, looping back to A Date with Death. What else was there to say on that? It was just a fun game for free, and I think like at most you have. I have indeed written. I've written extensively. For projects that will go unnamed for now. Several, in fact. But the game is like, A Date with Death was such a good time. And I love showing that game to people and watching other people play it and just seeing how everybody interacts with it and just experiences it. And it's such a, it's so goddamn funny. And like for the whole game being free, except for if you want like everything the game has, it's like $14, which is a steal at full price for what you're getting. And it's well worth the money in my opinion. But after that, the series to follow A Date with Death was Half-Life, the first Half-Life, which is a game that's been on my radar for as long as I played video games. Well, ever since I started playing PC games, at least. And like everybody who plays PC games knows about Half-Life, whether they played it or not, whether they know what it's about or not. They've heard of Half-Life, usually because of the memes. And I wanted to finally play it. And so when Half-Life's, I believe, 25th anniversary rolled around or something like that, it was an anniversary thing. I remember that much. But I think it was 25th actually. But the entire series was like dirt cheap. And the original Half-Life was free. And so I got like pretty much the entirety of the Half-Life series for dirt cheap. And so it kind of just gathered dust in my Steam library for a while. So I was like, you know what? This game influenced a fucking generation. I might as well play it. And I did. And it was scary, actually. I was not expecting it to have elements of horror, but it was really like genuinely scary at times. It caught me off guard. It got some good screams out of me. Some that I still watch back to this day because they were just so goddamn funny how genuine they were. As well as other just fun elements. Like the wandering around, the movement just felt good aside from platforming. The game was not built for platforming, but it was fun to just move around in it. The shooting in that game was really precise and really like responsive. The guns felt good. The movement felt good. Everything felt weighty. It had a lot to it that just felt good, even for a game as old as me. And the best part was it was completely stable the entire time. It didn't crash a single time. And normally Source games are known for being a little bit jank. But Half-Life 1 was really solid. It was a damn good game. I really don't have any complaints about it. Aside from just like some weird gimmicks here and there, but that was just because it was the first of its kind. It was the first game to do something like that. It was the first shooter to actually try to like really tell a story, to really have like deeper elements and have a lot about it too. It was incredible to go back and watch. Thank you. It was such a fun time. I really enjoyed Half-Life, and I'd recommend it to anybody, even with as old as it is, because it felt brand new, even after playing it this late into its lifetime. Like, it still holds up to this day against giants and juggernauts of first-person shooters. It was a little bit hard at times. I won't deny. There was definitely times where it was genuinely fucking nail-bitingly difficult. But thankfully, you can quick save wherever. But you can end up fucking yourself over if you're not careful. But I still managed to beat it. I never soft-locked myself. I never had to reload an older save to my memory. And it was just a good time. I don't know what else to say. It was just a good fucking time. A really good game that I remember very well. Next up was BioShock Remastered. Dallas, hello, welcome. BioShock was a game that I, once again, slept on heavily. When I first started streaming, I knew I was going to play BioShock eventually. because I think I've had it in my Steam library for years. And I've been like, well, I want to find out why people like BioShock so much, because like I've seen playthroughs of them a long time ago, back during like the golden age of Let's Plays. And so, and I remember being invested, but I wasn't, but I still wanted to like experience it for myself, because there's my opinion on the game Shadow the Hedgehog is why I value the idea of experience, like personal experience versus secondhand experience. Like they're like, because I personally love the game Shadow the Hedgehog, but I know a lot of people don't. And so like there is an important distinction between experiencing something through someone, experiencing something vicariously versus experiencing something personally. They're very different like feelings, and BioShock was something that I wanted to experience myself at some point. And finally getting to the game itself, oh my fucking god, I had so much fun with that game. So like, it is one of the most fun games I think I played, period. The last time I felt like I was having that much fun playing a video game was the original Resident Evil 4, which I actually played not all that long ago for the first time. And by not all that long ago, I mean like around, I want to say 3 or 4 years now. I think about 3 or 4 years ago. And like, it was just one of these experiences of just raw fun. It's so engaging. Like, I knew all the story beats going into it, so I knew everything that was going to happen, but I didn't realize how much fun it would be to wander around, to sneak up on splicers, to whack them with the wrench, to shoot them in the head, to just fucking goosh them with the shotgun. It just felt amazing and so fun to explore, to discover, to destroy things, to get better, to get stronger, to find stuff, to upgrade stuff. It just felt good and was so much fun to play. It is such a fun game. You're absolutely correct. I loved playing BioShock 1. And then when we finally got to BioShock 2, I couldn't stop myself, because I did it right after I finished BioShock 1. Because off screen, I played BioShock 3 more times. Like, I did... No, was it 3? I think it was 3. No, it was 2. I did 2 more runs of it, like almost immediately after I finished the streamed playthrough. I did one on hard mode and then another on the hardest difficulty, without using save stations. Like the quote unquote like beat the game without dying achievement kind of thing. And I did that, and I did it in 3 playthroughs, and I had such an absolute blast doing it. And just go, like, there is few things as fun as going around this game in New Game Plus with the wrench and all the upgrades for it and just decimating fools. Like, them just not standing a ghost of a chance. You don't need any of the guns to beat BioShock 1, and it was so much goddamn fun on New Game Plus, and made me wish that there were New Game Pluses on 2 and Infinite. But moving on to BioShock 2, I had to play more. I needed more BioShock after I finished 1. And BioShock 2 was such high highs and such devastating lows. The story was engaging, and it, from like on a personal level, I was like in deep in the story, but god damn, it is undoubtedly to this day the most unstable game I've ever played, I think, in my life. I've never had a game crash on me that many times ever. It was terrible. I think the only thing that comes remotely close is Majora's Mask on the Zelda on the I think it's the Zelda Mega. No, it's not the Zelda Mega Collection. It was this GameCube game that had a bunch of the N64 Zelda games on it and a demo for Wind Waker. And it was the only way I could play Majora's Mask back when I was a kid. And I think only because I played that game so goddamn much for years and it crashed all the fucking time, I think that is the only game that has come remotely close to how many crashes BioShock 2 did. And that's over the course of years versus over the course of weeks. It was insane how unstable BioShock 2 was. But everything about it is better than the first game. The melee combat was refined. The gunplay felt good. It felt really, really good to use the guns in that game. All of them felt really good, and the upgrades for them felt so impactful. They really felt like they did something. They changed how a gun completely functioned. And then building upon that with the plasmids and the tonics for it. Oh my god. And you never get to be quite as beastly as you did in BioShock 1 because the upgrades are like so few and far between. But they were still incredible. They were so good. And it felt amazing to just shoot enemies, get headshots, and just decimate everybody. And that's right, that was Deerthorn's first appearance on the channel as well. With her appearing as the ghost in my head, or the little sister on my shoulder, for, I believe, 2 of the parts of it, and that was a lot of fun. It may have just been 1 part. But I got the chain lightning clip out of it, and that always lives rent free in my head because that was so fucking well timed. I loved that bit. Just seeing that happen was incredible. I enjoyed BioShock 2 so damn much. It was so much fun to explore, so much fun to just be a loot goblin and explore everything and collect everything. How hard is this game clip? Oh, that's true. The how hard is this game clip was so perfect. It was so perfect. Because I played every BioShock game on hard, and I still to this day don't regret it. It definitely felt like the right difficulty to play on. It felt like if I played any of them on any lower difficulties, it would have been maybe a bit too easy. Or I would have gotten away with too much stupid shit. And I felt like it was the right amount of punishing and rewarding. Especially when I overcame some of the harder obstacles. But the funny thing is, I think beyond after we got past that beginning bit, I don't think I died too many times. Not that I remember anyway. That one defense mission was probably the hardest one in the game that I can remember off the top of my head. I don't remember struggling with anything else. The defense missions were a little bit awkward, but they were never terrible. They never lasted too long, especially after you got the upgrade that sped those up a lot. And then you got another one that sped them up even more. So I feel like they were good. It was amazing to watch clutch after clutch. There was so many clutches, that's true. And that was a lot of fun. It just made you feel badass. Way more badass than the first game did. And it was even more fun after you got the Big Daddy charge. And you could just fly across the room at fools and just destroy them. And that was... It just felt so good. Oh my god, it just felt so good to just body check somebody with all of your Big Daddy heft. It just felt great. Some bits of the the drill swing, just punching people with it, didn't quite feel as good as whacking people with the wrench. Just because, I think it was just because the animation for the drill punch was just a little bit sluggish. Whereas the wrench swing is really quick and snappy. Even though the impact sound isn't very impactful, the wrench just felt better, I think, just based on visual feedback. But the body check was definitely better than that. It's just unfortunate you couldn't spam it. But that's because it was powerful. Incredibly powerful. I can recommend BioShock 1. I cannot, in good faith, recommend the BioShock 2. I tried playing the remastered on Steam again on my own time. Excuse me. As well as the original BioShock 2, and they're both completely unstable. It is so hard to play that game. Whereas BioShock 1, I think, crashed on me once. And across the 3 playthroughs, it crashed once. But BioShock 2, I cannot recommend in good faith. It's a good game, but goddamn, it is... If you can get past the glitchiness of, if you can get past how often it crashes, there's a great game underneath. But I can't recommend it until something gets fixed. Next up was actually one of the discontinued series of Voices of the Void. A game I was just you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna try this. It's crash-tastic. It is absolutely crash-tastic. After that was Voices of the Void. A game that I played literally because Deerthorn was just like, you should stream Voice of the Void. And I was just like, no. And she was just like, do it. And I was just like, okay. And so I did. And she was there. So I had already played a little bit of it, so I was kind of familiar with like at least getting started. And was just kind of enjoying it. Like in the way that I did, which was very chaotic, which I still plan to do when the full game finally releases, whenever that may be, because there's so much game underneath that, and they're still adding more and more to it and changing things as time goes on. And only more things will change as time goes on, too. But I did kind of burn myself out on it, because I played it a bunch, like day after day after day, on my own time, and just ran out of things to do. And then I got to the yellow wisps, and I had no idea what the fuck to do, because saving was disabled for the entirety of those like weeks that they're active. So you're just kind of fucked unless you wait out all of that, which I don't think anybody ever talks about. And I don't know why. And I tried disabling that thing in the game that like prevents you from saving when an event's happening, and I don't think it did, and I don't think it worked. I don't know. I remember just being frustrated about that, and after that happened, I was just like, I'm done. I don't really care anymore. So, like, the alien species that shows up after that, I didn't really see too much of, because they were just... I just burnt myself out too quickly. I burnt the candle at both ends, basically. But, it's still such a good game. It was such an incredible time. And I still, like, now that I've looked into it more and learned more about it, it's a brilliant game, especially with the survival missions, with the survival aspect of it, like, and how it draws you to the scripted events throughout the game. It's so brilliant how it purposefully disables certain, purposely disables certain things. It was fun reading the wiki for you. Thank you. It was very fun having you as my handler. That was a lot of fun. But it was so brilliant how the game, like, breaks certain satellite arrays or turns off certain generators in order to get you to go to that location to witness the event happening nearby, because pretty much whatever path you take to get there, even if it's a straight line, is guaranteed to run you into an event that you want to see. Onyx, hello, welcome. And you had, like, everything from just, like, the mundane shit, like just the reroll picnic, to the invasions where people would freaking shoot at you and junk. And all that other jazz, like, hostile and non-hostile encounters. And how they... Like, the rerolls would get you to come outside and, like, follow the brownie trail and all that jazz. Like, how it gets you to do what the game wants you to do. Like how it would like disable certain doors and stuff like that to get you to go to the garage, so you can get like jump scared by the cardboard cutout being thrown at you. Stuff like that. It's very well done in how it gets you to do the things the game wants you to do. Aside from just dropping a thing there and waiting for you to find it yourself. And I think that's brilliant. That's probably my favorite aspect of it. Aside from this idea of... Like, it's fueled my ideas for horror, in that the best kind of horror, in my opinion now, after playing Voices of the Void, is letting the reader or the player or whatever get comfortable. Like, introduce them to a level of comfort and then take that comfort away. Because it comes back to this idea that I remember hearing once. It was, you're not afraid of being home alone. You're afraid of not being home alone. And I feel like that summarizes the feeling that Voices of the Void gives people. It definitely summarizes how it made me feel. And I'm not watching development closely, because I don't think the game is anywhere remotely near done. But I'm definitely going to be keeping tabs on it periodically and then coming back to it. Maybe not streaming it, because there's just so much game there. And it operates on its own timetable anyway. So, like, you physically can't do everything in the game. But then again, I've played other games that actively discourage and prevent you from doing everything all at once, so... But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that game a lot. The movie Home Alone, yes. Exactly. So you get it. Except you don't have a means of fighting back. Yeah, it's like Home Alone, except you're not Kevin McAllister. And now you're in danger because of that. After that was the Silent Hill 2 remake, which was actually my second Silent Hill game I've ever played. Because I played a little teeny tiny bit of the original Silent Hill 1 when my friend burned a disc of it for me to play on my PC. And I played that for all of a few minutes. Making it to getting the gun and the radio and all that, and that's about where I stopped. I did not get very far in Silent Hill 1. So Silent Hill 2 is like my first true Silent Hill game, but Silent Hill 2 was kind of my gateway to horror. I didn't really pay close attention to it, but I watched a playthrough of it a long time ago, and I still remember that playthrough very vividly. I just wish I could remember the guy who I watched so I could give him credit. And I tried looking for that playthrough after I finished the game, and I could not find it. So it probably just got buried, especially with how it was Silent Hill 2, and now there's a new Silent Hill 2. But I enjoyed the hell out of that game. It had so much atmosphere, and it was scary as shit at times. And I definitely felt ill-prepared and definitely, like, scrounging for resources a lot. Because I always tried to, like, not use resources as much as possible. I prefer to get good over, like, item spam. Silent Hill 2. 2. Exactly. Hello, Kehoe. Welcome. And I tried to... What am I trying to say? I tried to get good rather than, like, survive items. Survive through items. And so that's what I tried doing here, and for the most part it worked. I don't think I ever ran out of ammo or ran out of healing items. But it still made me feel like I was running out of stuff. Like I was definitely getting by the skin of my teeth. And it was just terrifying walking through every corridor, entering every new room, especially the goddamn mannequins. Fuck the mannequins. Oh my god, the mannequins were the worst part about that game. Because they're sneaky little bitches, hiding behind corners. Ugh. Pretending to be statues and just being little shits. Like, God, I'm so glad that Bloodborne instilled in me this fear of peek every goddamn corner ever. Except when I don't, and I get my ass beat because of it. But, oh my god, always peek your goddamn corners. And Silent Hill 2 basically reinforced that feeling in me. What's the music you got playing? It's a song that I made called Slow Goings. I tried speedrunning making a song for this whole event thing, and I ended up making 2 bare bone stuff. And so I just ended up not being able to replicate the vibe I was going for. So I was just like, I'll just go with the one vibe song that I've got. So yeah, this is the song Slow Goings. I made this. It is my song. I've shared it with some people. You may have heard it used by other streams. Keyhill has used it in some of her VODs and streams, as well as my buddy Dre, who also streams here on YouTube. He used it for a period of time. I like being able to provide music and stuff like that for people who don't want to worry about, like, copyright problems or anything like that. Just being able to because if you know the guy who made it, it's easy to just be able to say, hey, can I use this? Versus, like, having to potentially hunt down stuff or have to use the same music as everyone else because there's only so many copyright free or free use music out there. And some of them definitely vary, a lot of them vary in quality, that's for sure. And I personally consider myself to be pretty good at making music. Not the best, but pretty good. But I think that pretty much summarizes all of my opinions to Silent Hill 2. The combat just felt good. I've been told that Silent Hill F is a lot like the combat of Silent Hill 2, but just sped up by like 4 times, and also you become just a god tier like teenage girl. And Dan won't shut up about telling me how awesome it is, and now I really want to play Silent Hill F, but god damn it, it's so expensive. But Silent Hill 2, on its own merit, was really fun. And then playing through it a little bit more in the post-game with the chainsaw was just fun. It's just fun. It's that power fantasy that I love whenever you just get a New Game Plus, whenever you get New Game Plus going. It's a great time. I don't think there are any big moments of Silent Hill 2 that really stand out to me. I guess getting the Great Knife. I definitely remember how awkward it was dragging the Great Knife around, or as moving carts around, which were just fucking awkward and changed the control scheme. But nitpicks more than anything. Oh shit, you have Silent Hill left. We can play it together if you like. That'd be fun. That'd be really fun. I'd be down for that. After Silent Hill 2 was the demo for Unbeatable. And that demo lingered in my head ever since I played it. The music was so goddamn good, exploring was so damn fun, and just felt right to get lost. You had such a small snippet of the game to actually experience. So I was very lost through the entirety of that demo. But the bits that were there were a lot of fun. The music was incredibly catchy. And it just felt good. Again, it just felt good to experience. You didn't really get to experience like the hype moments of the game. You got to experience like a little bit of combat, and then the batting, and then the Whacktown segments from chapter 3, or episode 3, I mean. And it was good. The visuals are stunning. The atmosphere was... You could get drunk on that atmosphere. It was so good. Like, I just wanted more of that. And it sucked having to wait for the rest of the game to come out. But now it finally is out, and I'm finally able to play the full game. And it's even better than the demo. And now there's voice acting, too, which the demo didn't have. And it's just great. It's a fantastic time. But the next one is the biggest... It is an intoxicating game. And now the big one. The biggest hell yeah of this year was Hanako's Flower Shop. This game single-handedly let me accomplish one of my childhood dreams of being a voice actor. I had done a few things here and there for projects a long-ass time ago. But I have never really recorded stuff for anything. And it was at that time that I just went for it. And I'm going to take a step back from this and I'm going to tell the story of how I got the role in Hanako's Flower Shop. So it all began with seeing an open casting call video for a game called Sushi Ben on YouTube. And it showed the list of all the characters that were there. And some of them looked really damn cool. And I was just like, they're looking for voice actors, huh? I have a good microphone. I have good equipment. People keep telling me I have a good voice. Fuck it. Why the hell not? There is literally nothing I lose from not trying. And so I jumped in and I tried. I jumped into their Discord server, submitted like what I would like to do, the characters I would like to apply for, and went for it. I joined their Discord, hung out in the VC with a lot of other people, and I met some fantastic people while I was there. One of them being Deerthorn, who introduced me to a plethora of other people. And now we're good friends because of it. So it was definitely a good decision. But on top of that, I also met the popular professional Twitch streamer Catlink. And she and I got to talking. We shared like tips back and forth, helps each other out, it was indeed an incredible coincidence. But she and I talked back and forth. We sent takes back and forth to each other, got feedback, figured out where we could improve, what we could do better. Like, you know that kind of feeling where you're just like, you draw something or you make something and you're just looking at it like, what's wrong with this? There's something wrong with it, but I can't tell. And that was what we did for each other. We just gave each other feedback. And periodically, she sent me some other auditions that she found, because she is the most like balls to the wall, nonstop workaholic I've ever seen in my life. When she said, like, she's terrifying, because when most people say they want to do something, they dream about it and eventually get to it maybe. When she says she's gonna do something, it's a threat, because she does something, she puts every bit of effort she has toward it, every waking moment towards it, and she does it exceptionally well. And she is terrifying, because I feel like if she decided she wanted to be an engineer, she could get my degree in like a third of the time. She is incredible. I'm glad to have met you there too, Dear Thorn. It was an awesome time and a fantastic coincidence, and I'm so glad that we did. But she introduced me to a bunch of Catlink introduced me to some casting calls that she come across, because she wanted to go whole hog into voice acting. And one of them was Hanako's Flower Shop, and my first thought upon seeing it was, I don't think this is for me. And so I put it off for a long time. And then, but again, with Kat just being so inspirational with how hard she worked and how much effort she put into everything, I was just like, I don't want to fall behind her. I want to do well too. I want to just give it all I've got as well. Like, it was inspiring to see how hard she worked on everything that she did, especially with voice acting. And so I was just like, you know what? I may not feel like it, but I'm going to try. Because if I try and fail, at least I tried. I'm not going to just do nothing. So I submitted takes. I looked through the character list and found one character that I really vibed with. And so I sent in the audition for him, and I didn't get it. Milton, the project lead, emailed me back very quickly and said, we really liked your audition. Are you gonna, like, your takes are really good. Are you gonna potentially audition for more characters? And I was just like, well, fuck, now I have to, because the guy, the man himself was just like, we really like your stuff. Would you like to do more? And I had to do more. I had to. And so I auditioned from that point on for every other male character on the roster. And he liked my audition for the character Yohei. And was just like, I would love, like, you have a great voice for the character Yohei. And I was just like, that's amazing. I was just like, there's no fucking way. There's absolutely zero fucking way. Because this was my second audition, period. Ever. The Sushi Ben one, and then immediately followed up with Hanako's Flower Shop. And I landed my second audition, and I was pissed. Because it was like, this doesn't happen. How the fuck am I, made of me, landing my second audition for a video game ever? Because I know some people that, like, some people in the Sushi Ben server were talking about how they've been they had been, like, auditioning and stuff like that for years, and they could barely get minor roles and stuff. But I got a named character on my second try. And it felt like cheating. It felt like I cheated. Because this was before Kat was even in anything. So I don't know how it happened. And it felt incredible. I was ecstatic. I wanted to scream it from the rooftops. But I had to stop myself. And I didn't tell anybody for a while until I got direct permission from Milton himself to tell people. And it was the coolest thing. It was a dream come true. And so after recording every line twice because the first batch was unacceptable because you could hear I think my computer fan or my external hard drive's fan in the background, and so you just couldn't accept the takes. So I had to redo them all again, all 200 some lines, and resubmit them, and they were much better. And those are the lines you hear in the game. And then you also notice, if you play the game now, that a lot of the improv, like a lot of the lines are improv, because Milton gave me the permission to improv. And then you'll notice that like all of Yohei's like written dialogue, like so much of it, more than any character in the game, his written dialogue doesn't match the spoken dialogue, or at least when I played it myself and streamed it. Because I was allowed to improv, but I didn't realize how much I improved. And I just felt so fucking bad. I still to this day feel so fucking bad. I didn't want to give Milton extra work like that. But he said that I should and I could because I'm an engineer and Yohei's a physics student. So it just felt like a match made in heaven. And he wanted, since he's not a native English speaker, he gave me the go-ahead to like say the lines how like a naturally English speaking person would probably say something like that. But so many of the lines and the dialogue don't match so much of the spoken dialogue doesn't match the written dialogue, and I feel so fucking bad, more than any character in the game, and I feel so fucking bad. I hope it wasn't, I hope he fixed it, and that it wasn't too much trouble to fix it. Keeping your improv skills in mind now. It was less improv and more like tweaking, I guess, but yes, I still improv'd a lot. It was just like taking something and just rewording it in a way that made more sense to me personally. But regardless, it doesn't change the fact that I went off script more than any other character in the game. But it's still in the game. I'm in a video game. I'm a voice actor in a video game. And this was a dream come true. The day, like when the game came out, I was ecstatic. I could not play this game fast enough. It's me. It's me. It was literally me. I got to myself and I just screamed. Like, it is the most pure reaction I think I've ever done on YouTube. Like, I've hammed up some reactions for stuff, but that was like that excitement, that like volume, all of it was 100% genuine. The freezing, the excitement, just like the befuddlement, it was all 100% real because it was literally a feeling of a dream coming true. And to this day, I still remember that feeling very, very well. And that was back in April. And I will never, never in my life forget Hanako's Flower Shop. Milton tried to apologize to me because the game didn't sell very well on launch, and I told him, don't you dare apologize to me. Because Milton is a fantastic person. He was an incredible project lead. He was so helpful. He was so just willing to do whatever it took. He was very patient with me, even though I had to redo everything and cost him more time. But he was so kind and so patient and so like willing to help wherever he could. He even asked some of the other voice actors to help me out, which didn't pan through because they were all busy. But still, having that experience alone was more than enough. I am not getting paid to promote this game. Whatever, I was not paid to do the voice acting for this game, and that was my choice. I told Milton straight up from the start, before he asked me to be Yohei, that I would do the whole thing for free because I was not going to charge him for something that I didn't know the quality of myself. It was my first time voice acting. I didn't know how good I was. Everything before that it was only ever stuff I did with friends. But I had played years worth of Monster Prom by that point and gotten really good and just doing and getting a lot of feedback from doing like a bunch of silly voices. And I had always loved doing voices for characters, so I'd gotten familiar with it, as well as just watching a bunch of shows and seeing like when voice acting, like I can tell when voice acting is bad versus voice acting is good. And just combining all that experience into just being an educated amateur, I still didn't know how good it would be. So I told him, don't you pay me a thing. And I didn't get paid. and I continue to not wanting to get paid for it. Absolutely not. I would do it for free all over again because it was an experience. I wanted the experience of voice acting for a video game, whether I got paid or not. I wanted to do it for the sake of doing it, and it turned out fantastic in my opinion. There are other voice actors there who are well seasoned, like fucking Sky Redden, and I think his name is Sky Redden. And then like Gordon, I can't remember his last name, but those two are phenomenal voice actors. They are good at what they do. I don't hold a candle to them, but being able to be on that same stage as them was incredible, and being able to contribute to the game at all was an honor that I will hold near and dear to my heart until the day I die. Because your first success will always stick with you. And Hanako's Flower Shop, to me, was absolutely my first success. I wish it sold better because I know Milton went through a lot of financial hardship to make the game work. And it did not sell well on release. So, and I don't get paid a dime for telling you this, but if you can, go buy Hanako's Flower Shop. Support Milton. And do what you can for that. Within your means, of course. Because I loved the game. It's such a deep, like, heartfelt story that comes from so many different angles and so many walks of life. Like, the story is undoubtedly the best part of it. It has... I'm not going to pretend. The game part of the game is a little bit boring. It's not quite as engaging or as big feeling as games like Valhalla, which have very similar mechanics. They don't really do much. They still feel quote unquote like claustrophobic because you don't really go anywhere. But the world felt interconnected with how all the characters kind of knew each other in some ways, or in way, shape, or form. But in Hanako's, there really isn't that. It's really either Grandpa knows them or Hanako knows them, and not really any other kind of interconnection between them, except for a few instances here and there. But the stories these characters tell are so vastly different and so incredibly well written and so real and raw and true that they all feel like they're real people. I could see the events of every story actually happening in real life. For example, Yohei and his struggle with not knowing, like, not understanding the value of the people around him and just being kind of ignorant to that, which felt very real to me because I did the exact same shit growing up. But other characters as well, such as the one character who was just trying to find her place and wanted to take care of dogs because she was a huge animal person. Another one trying to help her friend feel better because basically her dream died because she got into an accident that that took away her ability to dance. The one who just wanted to be an idol and just live up to that and like be seen as like cool and hip and in the know and like larger than life. Like she just wanted to be somebody. They're all so real. I could see every single one of these characters being a real person and experiencing that with them and helping them along their way and seeing how they interact with Hanako and how they overcome their struggles and how they come back to help Hanako with hers. It sung so true to me. That is, I think thus far, the only game to make me cry on stream. Like, I remember King's Quest 2015 got me to tear up a little bit, but I don't think it made me cry. But it's so fucking good. I could sing the praises of Hanako's Flower Shop forever. If I remembered every detail, I probably would regale every detail. But because I do have some amount of time and I don't want to spend too much time already on one other thing. I will move on. But I loved Hanako's Flower Shop, and it means the world to me, and it always will. After Hanako's Flower Shop was the Midnight Walk. This, I think, was the most disappointing game of the year. I enjoyed my time with it. It had some good puzzles. The visuals were stunning, but it felt like a lot more, what's the phrase? Style over substance. It had a lot of good moments, but they were so few and far between, and especially for such a short game, and especially for such an expensive game too. Like, for as short as it was, it didn't justify its price. I caught myself several times throughout the playthrough feeling bored. And even like the big key moments, they weren't really that intense. Even then, like the goal was literally just make the walk to the mountain and reignite the sun. And even then, like the lore of the world and the creatures and everything that happened, like it was neat, but like it wasn't enough. It was very lacking. Even for such a short game, it could have been more dense with everything that it had. For perspective, I think Little Nightmares 3 was about maybe just as long. But I had like infinitely more fun with that game than I did with the Midnight Walk. But both of those games were way overpriced. So I cannot justify buying either of those games at full price. Especially not the Midnight Walk. If you can get it on sale, get it, because it's still a good game. But it was just disappointing for what it was. Especially with like how much I think I had hyped myself up too much for it. After that was Doom: The Dark Ages, and that was a damn good game. Oh my god, that was such fun. The Doom games have the reboot Doom era has always, like, every game has landed so damn well. But all of them for very different reasons. But Doom: The Dark Ages, I think, still sit as my favorite among them, because you just feel like an unstoppable force against an entire army, and you're the one winning. All the weapons just felt so fun and so weighty and so good to use. All the upgrades felt good. It didn't feel like I was lacking anywhere. Like, there was still everything that happened made sense in the universe. And it just felt good to do. I felt challenged while also feeling like a god. Which is very different from Eternal, which made me feel like a god that was perpetually like on the edge of my seat. Like, I was a god that was scraping by the skin of his teeth. It was hard. This game was definitely still difficult, but it definitely wasn't as hard as Eternal, or nor as easy as 2016. It had that right amount of difficulty. And plenty of things to keep me engaged, aside from just kill demons, look for loot. Especially with the parry system, because the parry system was phenomenal. It was perfect. It was exactly the kind of things that I was hoping for. And I'm so glad that they updated the game to give you the ability to turn off the slowdown whenever you parried. And it gives you the ability to tweak everything, the timings for everything, so the game can be as complex or as easy or as difficult or as you want. And it was great. To this day, running around with the one gun that shot in a wide fan shape and just mowing fools down still stands as some of my hypest moments in that game. I love just mowing through entire crowds of enemies with one just holding M1 and just dashing around at more than top speed because the gun makes me faster. It just feels good. It feels good to be a god. The road to El Dorado was onto something. And I haven't played it again. And I really should play it more, because that Doom the Dark Ages was so much damn fun. Not quite, I don't think it was as fun as BioShock. But it definitely has this fuck yeah power that I don't think other games have. After Doom the Dark Ages was Deltarune, which the first two parts, like the first two chapters, I had played twice before. And so I was very familiar with them. So I kind of was just breezing through them, slowing down only because I might be someone's first experience to Deltarune. So I wanted to still read everything and experience everything as much as I could, and like go in as knowledgeable as I could for the time, for like the two chapters that we knew everything about, because at that point I wanted to be prepared for when chapter 3 and 4 came out. And when chapter 3 and 4 did came out, I played them both in one full setting, and then again to go back and get secrets, which was typically outside of the norm for me. I'm typically one to just play through a game once and then let that be my experience. But I still wanted to do everything as much as I could after I had learned everything. So usually my method, like my philosophy with games like that, is the first time should be blind completely and utterly. But after you've beaten it, then it's fair game to go and look stuff up and figure out where to get everything, what you missed out on, and all that jazz. People were giving me hints all throughout. A lot of hints I just didn't get. And it was just a good time. They were probably some of my most successful and most engaged streams, because I think some of the definitely like the highest amount of like concurrent viewers were during Deltarune, and playing through chapter 3 and 4 on camera and just witnessing the goofy moments, doing the dialogue, voicing Susie, Ralse, everybody. It was just a good time, and I can't wait for more Deltarune. It'll still be part of the same playlist, but I should have waited until Deltarune was finished before playing it, honestly. The same thing like I'm doing with other games like Ultra Kill. Because who knows when we'll get all the chapters. After that was Liza P. Overture. I adore Liza P. I've done 3 full playthroughs on this channel of this game. One that was bad, one that was New Game Plus and also bad, one that was good, and then Liza P. Overture. And the Overture DLC was so damn good. It was so dense with stuff. It even added new mechanics such as like the ring toss thing to hit targets and get a prize from the carnival. And the weapons just felt so much fun. All the new outfits you got were cool. Freezing was annoying, but it's the only new status effect, so I can forgive it. They gave you plenty of stuff to deal with it, if you were smart at least. Or at least gave you plenty of ways to buy stuff to where you could prevent it. But all the characters were really good. It expanded on the lore that it had established for itself. Introduced characters that we had only heard of and were finally able to meet. And then have like other characters be your partners as opposed to just like an NPC that you could summon. And I think that was really, really cool. It was so, so cool. I did the Liza P. Overture DLC again on my own time afterwards, and oh my god, it was still so fantastic. I can't recommend that enough. It was still dense with content, while not being as long as the base game, but it still felt so tightly packed with so much going on that there was never a dull moment, and that there was never felt like there was something that went on for too long. There were some parts that were a little bit bullshit, but it's a Souls-like, so there's going to be bullshit. And the mantra is get good for a reason. And I got good. Oh, I got good all right. I bullshit back. And I fucking won. God, Lies of P is an amazing game, and I cannot wait to see what more that studio does. After that was BioShock Infinite. And if I were to sum up BioShock Infinite in one word, it would be lackluster. It's a very pretty game. It's a very good game. It's an incredible story. But it just didn't have that spark that made BioShock 1 and 2 so much fun. Infinite was still fun, but it just wasn't the same kind of fun. It wasn't that, like, oh my god, I want to play more kind of fun. Like, once I put BioShock Infinite down for the day, I was just like, okay, I'm cool. But when I put BioShock 1 and 2 down for the day, I was just like, oh my god, I can't wait to get back to more BioShock. But Infinite I could very easily put down, especially since it was also the shortest of the BioShock games. It was insanely short, and it doesn't even have a New Game Plus. Like, it was such an easy game to play through, and it was so easily digestible and able to get through everything. And so it just felt lackluster. But that's not to say it's bad. It was not a bad game by any stretch. It just didn't have that little something, that little sprinkle of something else that just made the first two games so good. Like, it looked like BioShock, played like BioShock, smelled like BioShock, but it wasn't BioShock. And I know that there's a BioShock 4 in the works. There's been one in the works for years. And I'm very curious as to see what will happen with that. And I'll be following the development of that, because now I got that bug in me. I want more BioShock. I understand now. I love BioShock. I still had a good time playing BioShock Infinite. I'm just surprised that it was as short as it was. But I still played through it again on my own time. So, like I said, it's not a bad game. Next up was Devil May Cry 3. That game was... it was a lot of things, really. Awkward was one. Awkward for one. Fun for another. It was a lot of fun, just like experimenting with the different fighting styles, learning the best way to approach different enemies, the different combat styles, figuring out which one I wanted to use. The bosses, though, were annoying. Like, the bosses just take so long to kill. And then just, like, so many of them just having long periods of just waiting. And there was nothing you could do about it. You couldn't trigger the next phase or, like, trigger them to be vulnerable. They just took forever. Like, the bosses just felt like damage sponges. And everyone was talking up Devil May Cry 3 as being really, really hard. And it was tricky, sure, but it wasn't hard. But then again, they toned the difficulty down a lot for the American release. But even then, Devil May Cry 1 wasn't hard. I would still put Devil May Cry 3 as harder than 1. But I still wouldn't classify them as hard. Maybe that's just because I played so many other games. But then again, I've never really played hack and slashes, so... I don't know. Like, Devil May Cry 3 just didn't really stick with me. It's just one of those games. I said I would play through as Virgil, maybe, but I didn't. Yeah, after I put it down for the end of the stream, I haven't touched it since. So, I don't know. After that was Neon White, and that was a fun game. I remember so much of that game and just wanting to do better and get better and play more and more and more and more and more. That was a game that I put down and immediately wanted to pick back up. Like, that was another game like BioShock where I was just like, I want more. I want more of this. I want to play more of this right now. And then I did. I went back to older levels and I kept playing through them over and over and over and over again just to try and beat my time and get better and faster. and more efficient. And I even looked up like strategies and playthroughs and how to get stuff. And it was so much goddamn fun to the point where, as someone who is not a speedrunner, got invested in the speedrunning aspect of it. I understand now why speedrunners enjoy speedrunning as much as they do. It was so much fun. Just moving fast, getting more optimal, and just getting more and more efficient at every single level until you got that red ace and you're just like, yes, I am among the best in the world. The devs have acknowledged me. And I did that for every level in the first series of the first, I guess, episode? I'll say episode. Like the first episode or chapter. The first chapter of the game. It was a blast. Neon White was such a good game. The characters were phenomenal. The story was gripping. The gameplay was intoxicating. I wanted more. I needed more. And so I played the shit out of it. And I could not wait for the next stream time every single time I played it. And just interacting with the characters, getting to know them, getting to play their like character specific levels and getting better at them and just showing them off to people was so great. I still fucking love Violet's levels to this day. They're all so much goddamn fun and have so much character to them. It is a game that just oozes charm. And I love it. I loved Neon White. And then after that was the piece de resistance, Hollow Knight Silksong. The biggest project to date that I've done for streaming on YouTube. At 17 parts. It was so damn good from top to bottom. Skong. Yes, the one and only Skong. It was so good. It was so fun. Every bit of it was so good. I always had an objective to work towards. I never felt lost. I never felt like I was just like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And even the few times that I'm sure I did, I found the next objective pretty damn quickly. Because the game is so dense with stuff to do, even it being bigger than Hollow Knight. And it definitely helped marking the map, which is something I did not do in Hollow Knight 1. But it was definitely annoying at times having to get money for everything. But thankfully, I was able to do a lot of the money grinding stuff like that off screen. So, and thankfully, every single time I did, it helps. It helps tremendously in the long run. Not until the very end of the game, when there was literally nothing else to buy and nothing else to use money for, was I just like, well, what the fuck do I do now? Because there was no other reason to... I couldn't play the game off screen anymore because there was no point in grinding for money. Aside from doing mini games, which were just... didn't really have a point to do on screen, and I didn't want to waste time, so I was just able to do those off screen real quick, and they didn't take long at all. Like the Festival of Fleas, that took no time at all, honestly, after I just did them off screen. So I could have done it on screen, but I didn't want to waste time. You're getting a DLC, something water-based, I think. Yeah, Ocean of Sorrow, I think is what it's called. And yes, you can bet that I'm going to be going back to Silksong when that drops. And it's going to be free. So let me reiterate. This game took 6 years to develop. The devs said nothing about it through the entire duration of it until it was being released. Released the whole game for $20, and now we're releasing DLC for free. I love Team Cherry. Everyone loves Team Cherry. And every company hates Team Cherry. And all is as it should be. But the game was phenomenal. It's $20, and I got 17 parts out of it. Casual release is the best game ever. Exactly. Literally just casually releases the best game ever. I don't think it's the best game ever, but goddamn if it's not up there. It is definitely the most impactful game, I think. Like, impactful not personally, but impactful globally that I've ever think a game has ever been. Like, I don't think there's been a game as impactful as Hollow Knight Silksong since, like, I don't know, I think Call of Duty Black Ops when it first released, because that game was inescapable when it first released. Yeah, best game lately, undoubtedly so. Like, it sent waves through every corner of the gaming sphere, whether it was companies, like individual persons, communities, everybody knew about Silksong, and it made waves. And I don't know if there will be another game that hits as hard as Silksong did. But god damn, was it cool. And it had so much content, so much experience, so much great shit for $20. And I've been at this since 2022. And I've never played a game through 17 parts of just the main the main meat of the game without having to do bonus videos or second playthroughs. It is the longest series on my channel. For $20. That is insane. And it just gets better because now we have the Ocean of Sorrows DLC to wait for. I think it's called no Sea of Sorrows, I think. Not Ocean of Sorrows, Sea of Sorrows. It's going to be so great. It's going to be great. Undoubtedly so. I will be eagerly awaiting whatever Team Cherry does next. If you don't have Hollow Knight Silksong, get Hollow Knight Silksong. If you can't run Hollow Knight Silksong, I'm sorry. Ocean of Seas, that's the one. After that was Hades 2. I've still played a shit ton of this game on my own. But damn, it really is just Hades again, but better. I loved the fuck out of Hades. And it's still funny to me that I played this game because of Dan recommending it to me. And he never beat it. And then he told me about Hades 2, and I played it at his recommendation. And I still think he hasn't beaten it because he's been too occupied with Silent Hill F. Meanwhile, I've been playing through it a bunch. And also, by the way, the streak was broken. I think I made it as far as a streak of, I think, 15 or 16, and then I died. So the unbeatable streak has come to an end, which is sad. But it was still so much fun. It's such a good game. I've still been playing the shit out of it, trying to do all the stuff in the post game, which I will not be streaming anytime soon because I want some of that game. For one, it's too long, and two, because I want to leave some mystery to it. Because now the goal is a lot less tangible. Beforehand, during the series, it was beat these characters, like beat the bosses X amount of times, and you pretty much will get to the end. You'll get the base game ending. But then the post game is a lot more loose with what your goal is. You're supposed to get characters to talk to you about a certain topic. And who those characters are is cryptic, and not every time will they say the things you want them to say. So you just kind of got to keep going up to them after doing runs, and then talk to them again, and hope that they say the right thing. Until then, you're not getting anything. I know I've put more time into the post game than I've already put into the base game, if that puts things into perspective. But it's still so goddamn fun, especially with unlocking things like the secret aspects, upgrading the cards, all that shit. It's great. Hades 2 is fantastic. After that was Dispatch. That game also is going to mean a lot to me. That game's going to stick with me for a long time. Because it was so goddamn cool seeing my buddy Austin in the credits of such a big, incredible game. I had always known, like, when Dispatch was first coming out and was still in development, I already knew that Austin was working on it. So I had this game on my radar since the start. And the thing that made it so much cooler was that it was on other people's radar too. Like, this game that my friend worked hard on, got his degree for, like everyone else is excited too. And I got excited for him. I got more excited for this game because I seen how hard he worked. He got his degree in 3 years. He worked insanely hard. He did a great job, and he's an incredible programmer. And this game just continues to show that. And seeing his name in the credits and seeing people excited for it and enjoying it so much and watching it blow up has been nothing short of phenomenal. It's made me so happy. And playing it for myself was such a good time. I didn't think I'd enjoy management sims as much as I did, but I've really enjoyed the management sim aspect of the game, as well as just the character development. I loved Robert as a character and how I could turn him into, like, I never really could turn him into anything. He was always him, but I could persuade him in a certain direction, and it felt good. It felt right. The entire game just felt good to experience, and I loved every second of it. And the gameplay of it was so tight, so well made, and even then, the only thing that ever just felt weird was like the timings for the QuickTime events, which is a minor nitpick at best. I loved Dispatch. I loved it so much, and I'm still in the middle of a second playthrough of it. It was so goddamn good, and I can't wait for more. There's going to be a season 2 apparently, so I am very eager to find out what happens next. In this world or in anything else. It'll be awesome, and I can't wait to see Austin's name in the credits even more. After that, we started Unbeatable, and that's still ongoing. So far, that game has been incredible. It has had the best moments, I think, in a game ever. It has incredibly high highs and incredibly high lows for very different reasons, and it works so well. I'm not going to say too much about that right now because the game's not done, or at least I'm not done playing through it, but I'm insanely excited for more. I can't wait to play more of that game. After that, technically, even though I did it in the middle of Unbeatable, was Little Nightmares 3. And that I did co-op with Dan. I did the entire game in one sitting. The reason that ended up being in the middle of Unbeatable was because it was something I'd pre-planned, and Dan couldn't make Saturday work, so we decided on Sunday. So I just did my usual stream of Unbeatable. And then Sunday we did Little Nightmares 3, and we did the whole game in one go because we were just having so much fun with it. It was such a tremendously good game. It still pretty much was Little Nightmares. Same thing I always expected. Simple puzzles, running from monsters, all of them having their own unique mechanics, huge like areas to explore, deep mysteries, in a world that's just haunting to be in. And it all just being interconnected somehow. But you just don't know how yet. And the mystery of it just makes it so good. I loved Little Nightmares since before I started streaming. I was hooked on it. And I think I did, and I streamed my first, I think I recorded it. I can't remember. Either way, my first blind playthrough of the game is on my channel, but it's old. It's bad. It's low quality. But it was my first experiences with the game. And then I did a restream of it, like in celebration and in hype for Little Nightmares 3 being announced, as well as Little Nightmares 2. But I had a great time with 3. It was Little Nightmares. It was more Little Nightmares, and that's what I wanted. It was more of it, but also adding a little bit of spin to keep everything fresh. But I cannot, for the life of me, justify the price. I believe the first game was $20, the second game was $30, and the third game was $40. The first game I can justify because it was short and sweet, and it was the first attempt at a game that a developer could do. $20 for about a 3 to 4 hour experience. I'm okay with that, especially with like how rich and dense the first game was. it still stands out as like the most iconic Little Nightmares game, bar none. The second game was twice the length, so I can see it justifying paying for the title rather than the content. I think you're right. The second game, I can justify a $10 increase because it is twice the length of the first game, while also adding a bunch more mechanics on top of that. The third game was just as long as the second game, while having a few new mechanics here and there, but a lot of reused ones from the second game. And yeah, you really are just paying for the title over the content. The game was good. The game was fantastic. If you can get the game, get it on discount. Do not buy it at full price. If you like Little Nightmares, get it on a discount. Do not get it at full price. It is good. I stand by that firmly. But it is not $40 good. And that brings us to today. That is all the games that I have played in 2025. After almost an hour and a half. And it was fun to just look back on everything. All of those games were so good, and all of them feel like they were so long ago. Like, a year is such a long time, but also no time at all. Or some other things to talk about. I think this was a year, but I also, like, it's a smaller thing, I guess. What have you played today? Today, I played a lot of Metroid Prime 4, which I'm really enjoying. I played a lot of games, just not on stream, but they're mostly Switch stuff. But I've been playing a lot of Metroid Prime 4, and I've been enjoying that a lot. Currently getting through that, as well as throughout the entirety of the year, I was also playing through Persona 5 Royal on my own a lot for on a New Game Plus playthrough, trying to do everything and get all the achievements in that built into that game, because that game has achievements. And it's just one of those games that just feels so good to do a New Game Plus playthrough of. I love New Game Plus. One of my favorite things a game could do is have a New Game Plus. Because I love going through a game and just decimating fools. Just breezing through like a god. I love that shit. But on top of that, a smaller note is that I technically rebranded. Like, as you can see with this little character that I am personifying, this is my new, like, avatar for the channel, among other things, as well as my music. Drawn by the lovely, talented Timberwolf Merlot / Kihel Del Alfalkir. And I still love him to this day. But I've now got this little guy as my representation for me. I changed him to my profile picture here on YouTube. Changed my banner on YouTube, actually. At least I think I did. I don't think I had one before this. Before this year, I mean. But, hi. Yep, there they are. And this character has just kind of become, like, the new face of everything. Because, like, I just felt it was time, you know? I'd had the same profile picture for nearly 10 years. And it just felt right to take the next step. Like, rebrand my visual image on top of my presented image. Talk about him? No, I don't think I will. But I'll give some basic information. Basically, this little character, his name is Jurmicc. Jurmix. And what started out as a figurehead for my music turned into a full-blown OC, complete with lore, personality, character traits, powers, because of course, and all that jazz. and I've grown very attached to him, and he's slowly turned into like the most complex and interesting character I think I've ever written. And I'm insanely proud of him. I love his design. I love what he's become. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Let me think. Oh, I guess I could talk. Actually, good segue. Since he was meant to be a representation of my music, I can talk about the music that I've made, which is not a lot, but more than I thought I'd ever do. 2025, I think, marked the... No, it wasn't 2025. It was 2024, I think. But no. Yeah, 2024. It marked the beginning of my musical pursuits. With the help of my buddy Omingo, we released songs on Spotify. I've done vocals for songs on Spotify. I've also done instrumentals for songs on Spotify. All starting with a single that we did together called Plume. And I'm not the most proud of it because I'm definitely a better vocalist now than I was then. But I'm still insanely proud of taking that first step. I'd rather be like, you can't be good at something right away. You have to be bad at something before you can be good at it. And releasing something that I can look back on and say I started is more than enough. And I'm happy about that. I've released, not personally released, but like I am part of, I think, 4 or 5 songs that are now on Spotify. And that's insane to me. I never thought I would actually be a vocalist for something. Like be a composer for something. And it was so goddamn cool just being part of that at all. And then being approached by Stefan TV1, who commissioned the instrumentals for Dying Love, and doing that for him, getting his feedback throughout the entire process, him being so patient and kind and just so encouraging about the whole thing, was just a tremendously great experience. And it was so great doing that at all. Like, I would never in a million years thought someone would be like, hey, I want to pay you to do music for me. And it was so goddamn cool. And I did it. And Undying Love is now like out there on Spotify. It's here on YouTube. It's everywhere, I think. The instrumentals too. So if you want to listen to it without vocals, you can. And that's me. I did that. All of that entire arrangement, that's all me. And it was so much fun to do. Getting to do a Backstreet Boys style, like early 2000s, or like, I guess late 90s, early 2000s synth boy band song was so fucking fun. And I'm so glad that it turned out the way it did. I probably could do better now. And I might do better. I might do it again sometime in the future, just for me, just to prove to myself that I've improved, you know? Just for the sake of doing it. But then they also did other vocals for covers. Like, we've done a bunch of originals. The current one that's out is The Contract by 21 Pilots. We did a cover of that. And while 21 Pilots aren't really my thing, the song just felt like a perfect jumping off point. It gave Omingo, now Psionics, the ability to like really flex his muscles with composing and arranging, mixing and mastering. Well, it gave me the ability to like do my best with my voice acting abilities to replicate somebody else's singing, while also adding my own spin to it, while also being able to build on my own vocals as well. And I love doing covers. Covers are the perfect way to get started making music. And so starting with a cover of a song that was very out there for me personally, but meant a lot to Omingo, was, I think, a perfect place to start. But aside from that, I also did the release of Bad Apple back on the 1st. back on the 1st of January as the first song that I composed, mixed, arranged. I did not master it. Did vocals for and everything. Like all of that's the only thing that I didn't do was the art used in the in the art in the video itself. Frog, hello, welcome. That was the like everything aside from that I did myself. And then seeing how that just kind of developed as like a benchmark of my skill at the time, which has developed tremendously, by the way. 2025 been buddy. Overall, I'd say 2025 has been a great year. It had some highs, it had some lows. But I'd say overall, it was a fantastic year for Jurmicc. Where was I? Bad Apple. Bad Apple to this day is probably like my most complex song with how many like different instrumentals are actually part of it and how long it didn't take me very long to do, but it was so fun to do the entire thing. And it sounds amazing. I'm still insanely proud of that first attempt at Bad Apple. Like watching it grow, even though it's slow to a crawl, really. But hearing it back, hearing where I could do better, hearing where I know I could do better, vocally as well as instrumentally, or I guess I was about to say mixologically, but that's a very different thing. Like where I could mix better, just back end stuff that I could do, that I feel like I could do better now that I'm a bit more knowledgeable, a bit more experienced. I could do better. And I'm excited to do better. There's also a bunch of projects that are in the work regarding music. I have an entire series planned out that's in the works. And it will be released eventually. But the series is far from done right yet. There's also other projects that I'm working on, and like behind the scenes with other people that are huge undertakings, but they're so much fun. They're really letting me flex my mental muscles in ways that I never thought I would get the ability to. Like things that I didn't think I would ever do. Things I remember saying I wanted to do this when I was a kid, but now actually doing them, it feels wild. Writing and co-writing these huge projects that probably won't see the light of day for years, but will see the light of day because the effort's there. The gumption and the desire to make it happen is there. And it's so exciting. And I wish I could say more about them and go into more detail, but I can't. But there's so much stuff that's like happening eventually. Big eventually. Soon, TM. And it's just been so much fun doing all of these things, all of these artistic pursuits that I never thought I would do, and seeing them like be released and like going out to the public, and just like, sure, like feedback is always nice, but you can never expect feedback from anybody. Like especially like I noticed that one thing from like people who like already have an audience, they struggle with getting feedback because everyone wants to tell them they're doing a great job, as opposed to giving them honest critique, like constructive criticism. And so the only real way to like figure out what you can do better is finding out yourself. And I feel like there's definitely a lot of value in that. Finding like not necessarily comparing yourself, but like finding what somebody else does and being like, I want to do that. I want to make my thing like look or sound or feel like that. And then trying to recreate it yourself, but adding your own spin on it. And that's why there's this like saying that I've come to understand and like agree with a lot is good artists borrow, great artists steal. They see a great artist will see something and be like, I want to do that too. And they'll take the idea and they'll rebuild it from the ground up into something completely new, unique to themselves. Like the best example I can think of off the top of my head is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream and how it inspired The Amazing Digital Circus. Two completely different like products by the end of the day, with two completely different messages, two completely different tones, but one still inspired the other because someone was like, I want to do something like that too. And they made their own thing that is not even remotely like the original anymore. You would not know unless told, basically, or unless you were media literate enough to be able to tell that kind of thing. I am not media literate, so I completely missed that the first time. So when I found out, I was very excited because I love I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Regardless, it's so cool learning stuff like that because it sticks more. That aha moment of and realizing, oh, that's how they did it. This is how I can do it myself. Or you learn how to do this other, you acquire this new skill because you want to do that thing too. And so now you have more knowledge and it sticks with you more because you wanted it to make it happen. So it feels, it's like the entire process of getting there is far more personal. It's a very different thing between wanting to learn something yourself versus being told to learn something. Like a lot of people in school, like I was not the greatest in school, but like I'm really good at learning stuff if I really set myself to it. Ugh. But now we're here. I have tons of projects in the works. I have tons of friends supporting me. I have tons of stuff that I've released and a tons of stuff that's like basically inches from the finish line. Like basically it just needs to be released before, like it's basically done and just needs to be hit, just need to click submit at this point. And there's so much cool stuff that I want to continue being part of. I would like to, what would I like to do going into next year? It'd be cool to do more voice acting. I've kind of put voice acting on the back burner because I've just been so dogged down with other projects that I've been working on. Because voice acting is a commitment. Like once that starts, it's not just me doing it, it's other people waiting on me. And that kind of takes up, like, becomes my priority beyond my own job. And so I have avoided doing auditions and stuff like that, so that way I can continue to work on all these other projects I'm part of without having to be like, I'm sorry, I can't work on this right now. I have to do this voice acting thing. So being able to do stuff like that on my time is something that would be ideal, but definitely unrealistic. It's definitely not realistic to say, I like to do this really big project thing on my own time. Especially when you're part of a team versus like a 1 to 2 man to 3 man team where it's just like, oh, it's just you and your friends bouncing things back and forth until something gets off the ground. But voice acting is never a small project. Unless you're South Park, in which case that is a incredibly small project that is somehow huge. But tomato, tomato. I'm comparing apples to oranges, actually. I don't know. I'm definitely excited to see what other games come out and what games I continue to play going into 2026. There's going to be a lot more good games. And if there's not, I still have a huge backlog of stuff I'm going to play, which has me excited too. Because I didn't make it too much of a dent in my backlog of games this year just because so many good games came out. Like, I think, let me see. Of my backlog this year, the only backlog game I actually played... Backlog games I actually played were Half-Life, BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. Devil May Cry 3. I guess technically Neon White, but not really. So yeah, 5 games. 5 games out of the 19 that I played this year. But hey, there will always be another game to play. Certainly. I've played enough games to know that you never really run out of games to play. Even when you don't buy any new games for years. I could replay the same games for ages and still just get as much enjoyment out of them. Because another thing I learned is that never underestimate the value of hitting new game. It really instills in you this feeling of like, what's going to happen next? What am I going to do next? Even if you already know what's going to happen next or what you're going to do next. Like, it reignites that fire that makes you want to play more sometimes. Like, there were just some games that like I picked up and put down and just never finished. But hitting new game made me feel like I wanted to continue doing stuff. And sometimes it didn't. But it definitely has... It's a lot easier to hit new game than you'd think if you just don't play a game for a very long time. But that's part of why I started streaming. So that way I can play games and like experience them differently. Let's see. I don't think I have anything else. I think I've just about said all I have to say personally. I mean, I only had 4 things I really wanted to talk about, and that was the songs, Hanako's, the games, and my PFP and banner. Playing a game with people watching makes it a much more communal thing. Exactly. It's a great like, what's the word? It's a great social experience. Being able to share something like that with people. It's something that's just nice to have. It's a great way to like, for people who are engaged in the game, but like may not have the ability to play it themselves, or they just like the person playing it and they want to see their opinions on it. So that's part of why I don't do anything big with my stream setup. It just makes it so that way, like, people who are here for the game can enjoy the game. People who are here for me can enjoy me. People who are here for both can enjoy both. It's more important and relevant that way. Like an event that engages people together. Yeah. I guess that's part of why I like to keep topics focused on the game that I'm playing. I don't like to veer off of stuff like that because usually, with few exceptions, streaming the game has been my first experience with said game. So keeping topics on the game just feels appropriate, really. It just like it helps me focus as well. Like, I don't want to be talking about like BioShock when I'm playing Unbeatable, you know? Because then like my attention is divided and then I'll just start running around and potentially doing worse at the game that I'm playing. It's also made me want to try playing other kinds of games, ones that I don't typically play. Like how Unbeatable is a rhythm game that I technically have played one other rhythm game on this channel, which is Metal Hellsinger, and that was a fun game. Really good music. And then Unbeatable is just unmatched at this point. Way better than Hellsinger, honestly. As a game and as a an experience. I feel like I was going to say something and I forgot. But for me, streaming has always been just like a way for me to get through my backlog. A way for me to play games, have a record of them to look back on one day. And if I'm lucky, hang out with people while I do it. My favorite thing about streaming so far has definitely been chat. I love seeing new messages in chat. It makes me so excited whenever somebody messages in chat. Because I know that like the few times that I watch streams, I try to use chat as much as I could whenever I think of something, because I have jokes to make and sass to give. And it's just fun. It's fun engaging with the streamer. It's the part of what makes streaming is the engagement. the live engagement. And so keeping, like, I don't really care if I get big. Like, if I could have it my way, it'd be cool to stream regularly to like the same 10 to 20 people. And that to me would be enough. I have no intention of getting big streaming. It's something I do for fun. I don't want to be bigger than anybody. I don't want to overthrow anybody. I don't want to be somebody because of streaming. It'd be cool, but it's not a goal. It's just something fun. For me, for you, for everyone. That's what I try to... At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's just having a good time. It gives me a long-term goal of having this huge collection of playlists of my first experiences with games. And then it also has this side effect of inviting people in, like bringing people together, and sharing like just the passion they have for video games. And video games will always be my biggest passion. I love them. I've loved them since I was little, and people have tried to make me stop loving them, and they have never succeeded. And they never will. Well into my 20s, almost my 30s. I will always love video games. Fun experience to share with the world, and a great way to hold accountability for your backlog. Exactly. Could not have said it better myself. For as long as I can stream, I probably will continue to. It'd be nice to be able to stream more, but it's just not doable, really. The best form of media ever. Honestly, I do not disagree. I love games. They make you feel like you're part of something bigger, part of something else. It's just everything. Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. I think I've run out of things to talk about. So I guess I'll open the floor to questions if anybody has any. What's a game you're looking forward to streaming next year or far into the future? Ultra Kill. Definitely Ultra Kill. I have a list of games that I have a TXT document of games that I have that I want to play, and that I'm really excited to do eventually at some point, maybe. To put things into perspective, like, I'll go through this list. So these are games, as of right now, that you could maybe see me play, maybe not. Who knows? And that would be... But I think Ultra Kill so far is at the top of that list. I'm very, very excited for Ultra Kill. But there's some of the games on my list are Undertale Yellow, Portal 2 Co-op, Devil May Cry 4 and 5, Half-Life 2, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, Virtue's Last Reward, Zero Time Dilemma, Killer 7, Chroma Gun, Axiom Verge 1, Resident Evil Revelations, Resident Evil Revelations 2, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 3 specifically, Jet Set Radio, Serious Sam 2, Serious Sam The Second Encounter, Alice Madness Returns, Dead Rising 3, Fretless The Wrath of Riftsum, In Stars and Time, Blasphemous, Call of Duty World at War, and Dead Rising 3. Currently, that is my current list of stream ideas. You may see them, you may want, you may not. Who knows? There's no telling what the future has in store. If you could wipe your memory of a game to re-experience it all over again, what game would that be? No questions, just here. Appreciate you being here, Brambin. If I could forget all memory of a game and experience it all over again. Sticking strictly to the games I've streamed. Right now it's leaning towards BioShock 1, because that game was just so much fun to experience for the first time. Outside of the games I've streamed, I think probably Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. That's not a game that is among my favorite games of all time, but it is as a kid, that was the game I was most excited. I think I was most excited for ever. I don't think I've ever been as excited for a game to come out as I was for Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. And I wish I could remember my first time playing through that game. But I don't, because I've played through it at this point so many times. And I wish I could remember what it was like to play through it for the first time. And if I could stream that, that would be an incredible experience. Give me on that shit. I'll be your number 2. Funny, it's unfortunate you say that, Frog, because I have other people already lined up to do Portal 2 with. Apologies, my man. Sorry. But I think that might be it for this stream then. I've said all I wanted to say, and this look back has been a good time, reminiscing, providing additional thoughts on the games, looking back, and just seeing how far things have come. Because honestly, a lot of you, I didn't know when this year began. A lot of you I didn't talk to, and if I did know you, we didn't talk much. But now things have changed dramatically since then, and it's been awesome. And I hope things continue to go so well in the future. For myself, for all of you, for everyone. It's been a great year. And I hope things continue to only get better. So, thank you all so much for watching. And I really hope y'all enjoyed. And I'll see you in the new year. Bye.